Hello, guys. A very good afternoon. Welcome to the 30th episode of the Malkan show. So, before we begin, guys, and I have a very important announcement to make on this show. So, before we begin, let's see who's joining us this afternoon and from where, guys. If you can please introduce yourself and where are you joining us from, we begin the show. Yes, waiting for more people to pour in, more people to join in. I had a couple of people in the morning telling me that the markets have been super choppy. So if you could talk about some part on how to handle this whole choppiness, on the show about the psychology. And that's what I told them, that a lot of people who are not traders, who are into different things, in life and not just trading, are also part of the show. So let me talk on that on a different platform. Otherwise, I'll just end up scaring a lot of you guys on the show itself. So we have people pouring in. Ajay joins from Bangalore, Raghuveer from Nipani. Hi, guys. And Namrata joins us from Kharghar. Hi, Namrata. I've been reading your posts on the Option Mastery group. Really inspiring, and thank you so much for sharing. And we have Arvind joining us from Bangalore. Suresh joining us from Hyderabad. We have Kumar from Mumbai. Hi, Kumar. Welcome, guys, all of you all to this show of. So we are into this 30th episode today. There was something that I dreamt of have been dreamt of doing since the last couple of years, and I announced it when I launched my book in this February. Right, when we had the official book launch in February, that's the time when I really announced it, that this is now I'm coming out with this, and now I formally announced that I'm really all set and all geared up to begin, and that's a free webinar that I'm doing. You can go to this website called malkanhpclass.com. So I'll share in a bit of what is this and why I do what I do in this video in a while. So make a note of this, guys. The webinar is happening on the 5th of September. We'll announce the time as we come nearer to the date. But this is something that is really close to my heart. Now, most of you know that from where I have begun, by education, I began my career as a corporate lawyer. I was working with the UB group, and gradually from there I stumbled upon the stock markets. Initially, I of course thought the stock markets are a gamble, so I was very skeptical about this whole game of trading and making a living out of trading. But as I started learning gradually, I discovered that this could be one of the best ways to make a living, and thus started my journey from a corporate lawyer to a trader. So this is the story cut from switching one profession to the other. Then began the next journey where I started imparting my knowledge, my experience of how I started doing it to a lot of people out there, people from completely different backgrounds. But you know what? I discovered one thing as I started trading, losing money, making money, and covering myself as a trader. I realized one thing, that the business of trading is less about the strategies that you learn, but more about your mindset. Mindset is of extreme importance. That's the reason most of my years here into the trading and training and the coaching profession have been dedicated to study what makes successful traders such. What is the mindset that these traders who really make money from stock markets, what do they really do? How do they really, manage a streak of losers? How do they ride the winners, etc., etc.? That was a very fascinating part. But more important and more fascination came when my studies of high performance traders really overlapped the studies of high performance achievers. So this whole topic of high performance really caught my my adulation, my importance. I thought this is something which is so important. Whatever profession you're from, whatever business that you do, high performance is something which is extremely important, which is the baseline of everything, right? So here I want to ask you a few things. All of you viewers here, does it happen to you in your life ever where, for instance, assume that there comes a phase when you are completely focused, you know what you want, you are able to get a lot of things done in your life, sab kuch fatafat ho raha hai. You show a lot of strength for maybe critical thinking, maybe execution. You lead others beautifully, perfectly, very well. But then there comes a phase when you're maybe terrified or maybe just scared to move on to another level. Does it happen to you guys? Can you relate to this thing what I just shared? Has it ever happened to you? If anybody would like to share here, does it happen that you're fine, you're well focused, you lead others, things are going on fine, you feel that you've got it, you feel that this is it, I have tasted success, and then comes a turn where you feel that maybe going on to the next level requires maybe another version of me. This is not me. I mean, I don't have whatever it takes to go on to the next level. If anybody would like to share your experience here, please. Let's make it interactive because this session is going to be super, super important. Can anybody relate to this? Because it's like, consistently performance nahi ho pa raha. You're rising and then you're plateauing and then you're thinking, what next? How do I do that? Yes. So Bhushan shares, yes, being through that. A lot of times, maybe we go through that without maybe even realizing that we're going through that, without giving words to our feeling. What is it that's holding us back? A lot of times we go through that, right? So in fact, all super achievers, all those people, you have also been through that some point of time in life where we really fight hard, we really fight strong and long enough, and then somewhere along the way, sorry, we lose passion, we lose focus, or we plateau just where we are. We start plateauing. Essentially, we start burning out. ऐसा लगता है बहुत हो गया. And sometimes it's a feeling of overwhelm. It feels as if you are lost in a sea of opportunities. There's too many priorities to take care of. What do you do next? Because typically what happens is what's gotten you here never will get you there. That's a very common quote, because your next level of success will demand another version of you, a better version of you, a stronger version of you, a smarter version of you, right? So sometimes you feel that these were the qualities which got me from point A to point B. Why am I not being able to move from point B to point C with the same qualities, right? Because that's the plateau that most of us face. Can anybody relate to what I just said? So Pranav shares here, we need to work on the consistency part along with whatever it takes. Yes, so true. And for those of you who are traders here, my trader friends, for whatever I've been speaking, I'd love if you correlate this entire information side by side, parallelly, along with your trading profession, along with the business of trading that we do. All the trading mistakes that we make, all the trading breakthroughs that we have, they are all like, you move on, you move further, you're progressing, and suddenly you feel yourself plateauing and you don't know what's changed. You don't know what's going wrong. But the thing is, we don't realize when we plateau. That's the most funniest part of it, So Anil Kumar shares here, I could not take a new overseas role as I was not comfortable with the change. Absolutely. So this is sometimes which it may work sometimes in smaller losses. It may work sometimes in loss of opportunities. There could be many ways in which this plateau could manifest in your life, right? So consistency is a problem which you rightly mentioned here. So what happens is when we hit peak performance, we do not know and we're not aware that there may be a steep cliff, waiting for us on the other side of high performance. That's the key, guys. That's the bait that we're all we don't realize, and that's the reason we sometimes get tired of all the ups and downs of peak performance. Sometimes we have the peak performance, other times we don't. Then again we rise to peak performance, and then again we fall. So ये जो top और bottom बनते रहते हैं peak performance में, very similar to what we see on the charts. This is what it is, This is where the whole our personal performance graph shows like this. Now the challenge here is, the biggest challenge here is what I realized after studying through all the high performance achievers, and most importantly, after being coached by the best in the business, best on planet, I would say, the High Performance Institute of Brendan Bouchard, after being certified by them, the first Indian to be certified as high performance trading coach by the High Performance Institute, I've realized one thing: the most common challenge for all of us, me included, me leading in the thing, is that how to reach heightened level and sustained level of growth and success. That's the biggest challenge. I repeat again. The biggest challenge is how do you reach heightened level and sustained level of growth and success? How do you do that? Growth and success comes in bits and pieces. Sometimes you really hit it and you're applauded, but then next is something you fall down. How to keep that graph up? That's the biggest challenge. How many of you can relate to the challenge that I just mentioned, that your sustained level of performance, sustained level of growth has always been a challenge for you? How many of you can relate? Yes, so Subramaniam here shares that I do feel the same. I feel a need. I feel I need a change, like someone has to do something in particular to share trading. Since I find that I always miss out, and I feel that even though I do understand the rules, I find I fail. This could go, I mean, if I'm not wrong, if I can read it right, this could go up and down with you, Subramaniam. Yes, hang on to listen to what we discuss next. Karthik shares, most of the time, as we go along, there would have been many things we put off for a later date, and then during an exhilarating experience, this pops up. Yes, and then you have bunches and bunches of these. Am I right? I can so relate to what you're saying, Karthik. Thank you so much for sharing. Anjan shares here, very interesting. When I fall into the plateau from peak, it hurts a lot, definitely. Yes, you bet. But after a while, trying hard to rise and climbing towards upside, even with more harder effort, that's the process I'm going through. Thank you, Anjan. This is the most beautiful process that you're going through, because you realize something, guys, here, that as beautifully as Anjan put it, the way we have to give stronger or maybe more deeper efforts to rise. Eventually, what happens is we realize that our bottoms are getting higher. We don't fall to the same level as we did earlier, thanks to the work that we do on ourselves, and hence the importance of always continuing to work on ourselves. Thank you so much, Anjan, for sharing. I think most of us can relate to what you just shared. So that's important, guys. That's the challenge which most of us face. But you know what? Tell me something. If I share these general lessons to you on this episode, if I tell you, take my advice of always working hard, work hard always, be passionate about your work, have great habits, keep focusing on your strengths at all times, practice a lot, do a lot of practice of your craft, or stick to whatever you're doing. And the last one is be grateful. What if I bunch up these pieces of advice and I give it to you? What happens is, because we all know, the problem is we all know these common advices, but tell me something, and we all have done that, or done maybe all of these, or maybe some of this, or at some point of time or the other. But the thing is, imagine if you're working hard, you're focusing, you're deeply passionate about it, and you're forever grateful about whatever you do. But what happens when you fail? Is there something deeply frustrating about doing all of these and still not succeeding consistently? That's the frustration that I'm talking about here right now. That's the challenge that I'm talking about here right now. That these general pieces of advice that we all have, and most of us do follow most of the times. But what happens is, book consistency, heart mein nahi aa raha hai. That's the consistency that I'm talking about. So the thing is, guys, we do not need new tricks of the trade. Most self-development books, most videos that you watch, which are available in plethora, on YouTube, we have all the information. We know all the tricks how to make it happen. All we need is, listen to this carefully, all we need is, we need real skills, and we need those methods. By methods, I mean the frameworks to holistically advance not only our careers but also our lives. Because we're just not talking about a career or a way to make money here. We're talking about our overall growth in our lives, right? So all we need is this. We need the real skills and the framework how to do that. How about that, guys? That's the thing that I think most of us need to work upon. So Vinay Kumar shares here, interestingly, I'm meditating nowadays, and that's helping me trade with clarity and calmness. So beautiful, Vinay. Thank you so much for sharing. All the traders here, I hope you're listening to this one. Thank you so much. And Pranav shares again, being a newbie onto this trading and on getting my parents' support on pursuing this full time and learning so many new things. Sometimes it's difficult, but at the end, I always think of the outcome I want from myself, and I keep pushing myself to do whatever it takes. Perfect. All you're on the right track, Pranav. All that you need to, sorry, Pranav. Yeah. All you need to do is just keep getting on and on. Maybe infuse a few frameworks into your efforts, and I think you've hit it. That's perfect. Vaishali shares your on consistency. As my consistency and discipline goes up, I have gained more confidence. Yes, consistency and confidence are always linked to each other. We've spoken about that earlier too. So it's about the more consistent you feel, the more confidence you are going to feel about the things that you know, the practices that you're doing. Thank you so much, Vaishali. I hope your confidence keeps getting higher. Anjan shares again. Have patience and passion. More than that, have proper guidance from you, continuous support, and thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing that, Anjan. I love to do that. This has become one of my passion. That's what it is. So that the consistency, the framework that I'm talking about, guys, this is what I really want of course, each of my people into my community. That's what I work on consistently, but also the greater people at large. That's what it is. So most of the above, your all these tricks that we all know, all these general sort of advices, they bring us individual success. They bring us this initial success. But here we're talking about heightened and continuous levels of success. That's what it is. So, in a nutshell, if in a sentence I have to tell you what high performance is a definition as what my mentor Brendan says is that high performance means succeeding beyond the standard norms. I repeat, succeeding beyond the standard norms. And by standard norms, I mean the standard goals or levels that we've set for ourselves. We've seen people setting up and achieving for themselves. These are the standard norms. So when you succeed beyond these standard norms, consistently over the long term, that is what is called high performance. So I believe whatever the field that we are in, whatever the endeavor that we're after, making money or raising successful children, or managing a home, or decorating a place, or running a bureau, or whatever it is that we are into, high performance trading, of course, whatever it is that we do, high performance is something that we all should aim for eventually, because this is what it is. This is what it requires for you to consistently keep scaling higher. And that's what, as human beings, we are after, right? We want to outperform our own selves year after year, month after month, so that we keep progressing always, not only in our careers, but also in our personal life. So the topic of high performance, of course, is very, very close to my heart. And if I go on, I can go on for hours and hours. So to cut it short, guys, go to this link called High Performance Masterclass. The webinar is going to happen on the 5th of September. And to know more about this whole game of high performance, and I've got a lot of it to share, what it is exactly, deeper into what is high performance and what are the exact factors why we don't have high performance in our life right now. So these are some of the things that I'm going to be sharing. I'm waiting and excited to be sharing with you on the 5th of September. So please go to this link and register yourself. And as usual, please keep sharing the video if you found it useful. I hope a lot of you got insight. Please do make your notes, and throughout the week, go through it. And I'll see you on the next show. Yes, I have a few requests here. Karthik says, could you share some more points for self-motivation? Yes, Karthik, I'm going to share a lot of points for self-motivation. Just attend the free webinar on 5th, and that's where I'm going to speak a lot on this topic. Raj shares here, I have put a schedule in my calendar, which is helping me in my consistency, and my confidence is increasing. This is wonderful, Raj. Whatever it is, frameworks always help. That's one thing that my mentor has taught me. Without frameworks, everything is just information. So thank you for using a framework. Others, please take note of what Raj shared. Thank you so much. And yes, Vaishali shared, now I need more perfect practice. Yes, I think Vaishali, these two are antidotes. Practice can never be perfect. Your more and more practice will take you to be perfect. I think that's the way you could put it. Thank you so much. Thank you guys, for all of you, for joining in my show. And I look forward to seeing all of you. If you found this useful, this information, please feel free to share with your guys out there. And I'll see you soon on the show. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks.